Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Anime Club. It is me, the Great Lord Vorn, as your announcer today. So screw it to you, Knick-Knack. With us is Bockage in replacement for Realm.
You know, it's kind of impressive that he only peeks the mic when he's trying to piss us off.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's so quiet, but no, gains a voice when he's trying to make us mad.
But I like my announcer voice. Do you not like it, Sekhmet? Should I go pissy on you as well, my announcer voice?
I genuinely cannot say that I like anyone's voice who I have to edit on a weekly basis. I hate my own too, if that makes you feel better.
Okay.
I have no opinions here.
I'm surprised you guys are confident enough to not do like an audio check or anything before you start.
We've gotten used to it.
With practice, you kind of figure out the way that the audio is supposed to look after a while. The track is supposed to look.
Gotcha.
Like, I swear to God, last time when we were recording on the laptop, and because my laptop USB ports are fucked up, I could tell immediately by the resting noise of the mic because it didn't look right.
We've been doing this too long.
And that's entirely fair. We're in what, year 4? Year 4.
Four?
Woohoo! 4 years!
Oh.
As Warren did mention, Realm is gone for today. He'll probably be sitting out for at least a chunk of this season.
Yeah.
So it might be a bit before you guys see him again.
But in the meantime, we're inviting other people!
A lot more guests. This is going to be the guest season. Not semester.
That also
season.
that also means that it's significantly less predictable about what animes end up where, because since we don't have Realm, our guests actually matter in our overall ratings.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Your opinion matters this time.
Your vote's gonna get counted.
As opposed to before where I was just here for shoe polish, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have
Garnish.
not slept, so I am running off fumes right now, so you're gonna get possibly some loopy random bullshit in this episode.
That's fine, but I assume that's because of work.
Yeah.
Nah, for me that was just because I was up late playing Pokemon.
I was up till midnight between Call of Cthulhu and Greek history homework.
Yeah, I was moving boxes around in a walk-in freezer.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
No, it's not.
That sounds amazing.
No, it's really not.
The walk-in freezer was my favorite part of working at Walmart.
Great doxing yourself. Yeah.
It's Walmart. There's like 15 in every
I
city.
wonder what country
America.
or what state
Could possibly have a Walmart with a walk-in freezer, Vorn. How original, how unique. There's only one in the world.
Just
You don't know
I'm
that.
joking.
You genuinely don't know that. I mean, I've never been. Have you ever been in a Walmart warehouse, the back rooms? I certainly haven't.
No.
I don't know what the hell they got back there. Some Walmart employee's like, she knew she's from the one, the singular one. You're gonna have like a black van show up outside your house. There's just gonna be monitoring equipment everywhere.
It's a closely guarded secret. Even we didn't know that it was a secret.
Yeah.
But now that we've spoken, we must be contained.
Well, this episode's never gonna get posted.
I
We're
mean,
gonna be executed by the Walmart Mafia.
Look, if this episode doesn't get posted, that'll be more due to my own inability to edit on time than the content.
We forgot to say we watched Tower of God season 1.
Mm-hmm. Which is getting a season 2.
Didn't
Yeah.
season 2 already come out?
No?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of, I need to pull up the production company and shit.
Yeah, I don't know which production company it is off the top of my head.
I know
I do.
that
No.
opening and ending credits specifically mention Crunchyroll and Webtoons.
Yeah, they bankrolled
because-
this.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because so it's a Webtoons original and a Crunchyroll original. So the Webtoon is only published officially on Webtoons, and the anime is only officially released on Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll threw all the money at it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
However, since we're into animation and stuff, so the animation was done by Telecom Animation Film with the Aniplex subsidiary Rialto Entertainment. Telecom has done some of the Lupin movies. Let's see.
Definitely can see that.
They've
The art
also
style.
they've worked. Oh God, they worked with Walt Disney to do Adventures of the Gummy Bears in the 80s.
Wow.
Oh, they
Oh,
produced the
my.
Dennis the Menace cartoon and the Real Ghostbusters. So they work with a lot of other people. Batman the Animated Series from 92 to 95.
Interesting.
Yay.
Animaniacs, Spider-Man, the 90s one.
The Fox
Superman.
Spider-Man.
I think, yep, the Fox Spider-Man. See, Superman the Animated Series. So they had... Oh, Full Metal Alchemist Bones in association with Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood in... Fuck.
Sounds like they've been mostly a support animation studio.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it looks like. It doesn't look like they've done a whole lot on their own. Everything's been produced with other... They're doing the Rick and Morty anime.
The what?
The what?
Cartoon Network Japan. It's coming on Adult Swim. To be announced. It's in planning.
I don't even know how to respond to that. That's just so peculiar.
I don't... They did Orange.
Orange, okay. That's good for them.
Yeah,
I guess I have no idea what that is.
It's an anime.
Yeah, lots of in association with other companies so other companies function as the producers, but I guess they provide some of the manpower or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, that's why it says in association with Aniplex subsidiary Rialto Entertainment and Sola Entertainment. So it originally premiered, I think, first in South Korea. The webtoon is Korean. Originally, the opening and ending songs were actually done by the K-pop group Stray Kids. I listened to them.
You could tell the difference in that opening and ending song when you
Yeah.
listen to it compared to a lot of anime.
Yeah.
Is it in Korean or is it in Japanese?
I don't know. The opening song and ending song. Okay, so they were produced in Japanese, English, and Korean, all by Stray Kids. So
I
it looks
listened
like
to
there
the
was
English
three
one.
different versions. You can listen to the Korean one, the Japanese one, or the English one.
But they used one for the anime. Which one did they use?
So if you watch the Japanese sub, probably the Japanese one.
Okay.
If you watch the Korean, probably the Korean, because it says, for the respective language dubs.
Okay,
But
so there's
Stray
the...
Kids did all three versions for Japanese, Korean, English. So same band, but they sung it in three different languages.
It was definitely in a unique style. I'll give it that.
Yeah, well, Stray Kids has an interesting style. I like them. I listen to them. I'm a fan. They're not one of my favorite K-pop groups, but I am a fan. And it's interesting to see a K-pop group do an opening because it's not like what you would consider traditionally opening or ending music.
Yeah.
Not really. I liked it though. Kevin Penkin did the soundtrack.
He's actually a huge soundtrack person for Japan.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at what he's done in terms of Made in Abyss, Rising of the Shield Hero, Tower of God, Eden, Star Wars Visions, episode The Villainous Bride.
That was a good one.
More Made in Abyss, Legend of Mana, more Rising of the Shield Hero. So he's also done the music for a couple of games, or some of the music for a few games like Arknights, and some other stuff.
He's actually Australian. You can see interviews with him on Trash Taste.
British-born Australian, yep. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, that's nice.
Fascinating.
I like the soundtrack of this. I don't think as many things stood out to me as I'd like, but there were a few times where it was really, really good.
Yeah, music was always very nice, especially like with that opening ED. It was different, but it was nice, at least for me.
The opening ED were probably decided by the production company.
I have to admit, I really liked the opening in ED because Tower of God felt, I guess because, so I've read the webtoon, it felt different than the typical Japanese anime, so the opening and ending being different felt appropriate, you know, in watching. I definitely sat through them every episode.
What's your thoughts on this package?
I definitely noticed that it was the songs for the OP and ED were definitely different because, you know, a lot of anime, we all know a lot of anime uses a lot of J-pop, stuff like that, so it's distinctly different. I can't exactly say I'm a fan, But it was a little nice surprise. And the music throughout the series, I honestly can't tell you much. I'm not sure if the version I was just watching had like a weird thing going on with it, but like I barely heard. I don't think I can't remember hearing any music other than like the big pivotal moments where the music it actually drowns out the audio in some scenes. Which, thank God for subtitles in that situation.
Oh yeah.
That's fair. I think, obviously, I was predisposed to like it. You know, the opening and ED in particular. So I don't blame anyone for not.
I mean, I think if I can comment on the OP here, I'm not a huge fan of the OP's animation.
Oh, absolutely not.
Because the animation was
that's
like
weird.
It's a lot of jump cuts to
The
emoting.
Yeah.
The animation reminded me a lot of the webtoon.
No, I mean the animation. The I thought the animation was fine for the anime, but the opening, it's not the animation that was the problem. It's the animation, like the product, the animation, not the
scenes
the movement
shown.
of the
The
animation.
visuals.
Yeah, they didn't do much visual. Like it was very. It's Bomb walking in a foggy background.
See, I understand what they were trying to convey,
Yeah.
which is, the struggle of his journey kind of thing, and the eagle or falcon or whatever the heck, the bird
Yeah.
that's flying overhead is like, the ascending higher kind of thing is his goal, and the struggle, all that. I get it, but it's done in a very, like, blatant way. There's not much really left to interpretation.
Yeah, it was a little too simple.
It's a lot better than the visuals of the ED, that's for sure.
What, you mean nothing except for
It's just,
the occasional...
it's a girl laying in a field.
Yeah.
That's yeah. I don't know. Is that like a reoccurring image in the webcomic?
I don't remember specifically. I read the webcomic a while ago, and I just kind of binged my way through the entirety of it. Since that's how I prefer to read webcomics very often, I do like to binge my way through them. Personally, I'm just happy. This was the first big webtoon to get an anime adaptation.
The
Or
first, at least,
webcomic.
high, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Between this and I think technically Noblesse got an anime
It
movie.
was an OVA.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like an
OVA,
OVA a few
3
years back, but it
episodes.
kind of sucked. And I don't like Noblesse, so we don't talk about Noblesse. But Tower of God was the first like big webtoon that was kind of mainstream in webtoon circles to get an anime. And the fact that even though it didn't do super great according to a lot of people, it is getting a second season is really good for webtoons, in my opinion. Because I think that in response to this, we kind of have gotten a lot of announcements of webtoons being made into animes, because we got God of High School.
Well, God of High School, and then the continuation of Noblesse
Yeah.
were kind of one, like, big, like, we're bringing webtoon into anime now,
Yeah, and then
sort of
Solo
moment.
Leveling was announced, last couple months ago.
Yeah.
I think a few others.
Wasn't Omniscient Reader?
I don't know if Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint has been announced for an anime yet, but I
Yeah.
think it's... If Solo Leveling got one, I expect Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint will get one soon.
Like, as far as its presence in the industry, regardless of what you might think of the anime, Tower of God is very important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it really broke open, like, webtoons for anime options. Which is good, because there's a ton of webtoons that can be made into anime that I'm really excited to see. So hopefully this trend continues. Season 2 is already a good start,
Yeah.
because it proves that people liked it enough that they think it's worth continuing.
Well, I guess we've been talking around it. Why don't we give our full thoughts here? How about we start with Vorn?
I'm going to give this approved, but it's not like because it's the best show, but at least did it better than some of the other shows that I've seen. It's because I feel like they left a lot of stuff out, which not that surprising since technically this covers season 1 of the whole entire webtoon. Yeah.
Yeah, and season 1 of the webtoons, usually one season can go anywhere from 20 to 40 episodes, depending on how many episodes come out per week throughout the season. So
There's a lot of middle area that was just cut out or skimmed over.
yeah, and you have to think that the way that anime's pace and webtoons pace is very different. So I'm sure God of High School had that same problem. Bakash?
trying to remember your guys' rating system because there's four
Approved
ratings, right?
meh shit.
And
Ooh.
ooh woo.
This is honestly a meh for me. It clearly has a lot of ideas, but a lot of those ideas are withheld from the viewer throughout the entire first season, and it left me with a lot of things where someone would introduce themselves and give their title and their rank, and I'd be like, okay, that means absolutely nothing to me, because I don't know how anything works in this world.
That's fair.
Yeah.
We'll probably get into it more in the story section, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of that I agree with you on.
I mean, like, I'm not gonna say shit because it met. Like, the reason it's met is because there's nothing really bad about it. The animation's fine. You know, the music from what the OP and the ED music is fine. It's just kind of fine. I mean, I could take it or leave it, honestly.
So I'll go ahead and go next. We'll push Seki to last here. I give this one an approved. This is my second time watching the anime because I watched it as it aired. If you'd asked me as it aired, I probably actually would have given it a meh. But on the second time watching it, having actually, because at this point I've read a little bit more into the webtoon, the things that I had problems with, I understand more, and the things that I liked a lot more here. We'll get into it more in the story section, but it's very clear this anime, having read further into the webtoon, this anime is kind of just the prologue, if that makes sense. And if they had really stretched it out to the length that the webtoon had gone, it probably would have been dragged out a little bit too much. It's weird. I'm sure Seki can back me up here, the difference between reading a webtoon's pacing and an anime's pacing.
Reading a webtoon is much faster than
Yeah.
watching an anime. So it's and because you're not like watching the movement between scenes, you're just going image to image. It doesn't really matter if like a prologue stretches out a little bit because it's never longer than like, it's never an unreasonable amount. We ran into this in another webtoon we recently read, Punderworld, where like the entire first volume is basically just the intro and setup. And it
Yeah.
feels
Punderworld?
Punderworld. Yeah.
So like under with a P?
It's a retelling of the Hades Persephone story.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's just a very it's just the first word
Yeah.
of that title just threw me off.
But it has the problem where the way that they've split the books up, the entire like first published book is basically just the prologue for the actual story.
Seki's been caught off guard a few times when we were reading Solo Leveling as well, how slowly it moves if you try to take it in traditional, like...
Yeah, it fucks me up, because, like, I expect it to get so much further than it does in each volume, and I'm just like, by volume 5, we should have been here, and we are 4 arcs behind that, in my opinion. Because the pacing just feels so different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Seki, how about you? What are your thoughts on this anime?
I mean, I give it an approved, personally. It's not one of my favorite webtoons. This is not a webtoon I read regularly, but I do like the adaptation. And I mean, maybe that's because I read it before I watched it, and I've read the entirety of it, but I do like it. Like, altogether for me, it came out really nicely, and the fact that it's getting a second season is just kind of the cherry on top of the cake for me. Plus, it just in general gives me hope for all the other webtoons I love that are super popular. Like, I cannot put that out of my mind when watching it. So,
Like, is the webtoon finished?
Yeah.
Like,
No,
is it concluded?
no, it's
No.
not. It's just,
No.
it's still ongoing.
Oh, wow.
This
Yeah.
is basically like...
What's the fucking web novel?
I don't think there's a web novel. It's just
No.
a webtoon.
See,
How long has it been going on for?
A long time.
Quite a while. Like this,
Hold
like
on.
right now, I think they're on
Yeah,
season.
they're on 10
3.
volumes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
we're-
just finished up season 3, I think.
Yeah. I was.
It's
I
been
forget
going
which
for a
ones
little
were.
while.
Okay, so I'm caught up to whatever was the last season that finished.
Season 2 was the last one that finished thing. We might be towards the end of season 3.
Yeah, because
probably.
I definitely read it till the last season break that it went into, which makes sense. But yeah, there are 10 volumes out so far, like in paper.
I think I got about halfway through season 2.
I got
Yeah.
up to like that castle town like arc thing.
It's been too long. I don't remember which one that is.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Yeah, interesting. What's that actually? You know what I'm gonna do? I want to check something in Webtoon.
Okay. Don't worry, we'll cut this out.
See, that's funny because every time we've made jokes about cutting something out,
I leave
it's
it in.
always stayed in.
Yeah.
I leave it in.
I mean, there was that like what 15 minutes where we're talking about KOTOR 2 when we were supposed to be talking about Kiki's delivery service, and she left that whole fucking thing in.
Yep.
You know, that entire like KOTOR discussion was enough to get her to add KOTOR to her games to buy list.
I know.
Yeah.
God, I'm
Okay,
so freaking happy about
Yeah.
that.
I'm currently read up to episode 500.
I don't remember.
And okay, so there are currently 550 episodes out.
Jesus
hold
fuck.
on. That sounds like a lot, right? 550?
Yeah.
But you have to remember that like each of these chapters it's not like the length of like a One Piece chapter, right? Think
That
about
means nothing to me. I'm sorry. It's been so
It's
long
like-
since
Okay,
I've read
let's put it
One
this way.
Piece.
Let's put it this
I'm
way, right?
sorry.
Hey, package, right?
Yeah.
One manga volume,
Okay.
right? There are 10 of these out for the whole series.
Got
That's
it.
550 episodes. Shorter episodes than a normal anime chapter
Okay,
or a
got
normal
it.
manga
So,
chapter.
Considerably shorter.
But that also means
Considerably
every
shorter.
chapter's denser with characterization and.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're
interesting.
getting a lot more. So you get a lot more talk and text than you do images. Like if you compare it to a manga, you're getting a lot more like character and interaction, but less art. But the art is like more.
Higher quality,
Polished.
kind of.
No, it's more visually stand out because it's colored usually, and then sometimes there are moving elements of the art.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd say higher quality. Tower of
No.
God being case in point.
No,
if you've seen the original
Ta-
art for that.
Tower of God is maybe not the best example. It's not stunning.
I don't know, like, I might consider higher quality just solely based on it's colored.
Yeah, well, that just makes a visual difference. But yeah,
Yeah.
the chapters are typically like shorter, but there's more writing in them, so you get a lot more opportunity to expand upon story without covering as much. You know what I mean? But yeah, so it's I say 550, and that sounds like a lot, but it would not be like reading 50 volumes of like a manga that's like 10 chapters to a book. It's significantly shorter than that.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot, but it is not.
I don't read a lot of webcomics, so.
They can kind of trick you because like the numbers creep up because you keep just clicking next so long as it's free to read, and the numbers really creep up on you because it's so short and it's so fast to read through it, and then you're like, oh shit, I'm at episode like 300 before like 2 days are out.
Did you guys ever see that, it was a semi-popular webcomic. It was like a one-shot horror webcomic.
I think I've heard of that one.
The thing is that they don't tell you is that one of the panels is actually an animation. So when this person comes up behind this girl, her head actually turns around in the panel because it's an animation. It's not a still image.
So if you're not familiar with webtoons, that's gonna get you.
Yeah, it's gonna fucking get. It got me. It got me bad.
Well, because you don't expect the
Yeah, exactly.
animation to come through.
So
Sometimes
that kind of popped out. So that kind of blew up for a little bit.
yeah, sometimes I
can't remember the name of it,
open.
unfortunately.
Sometimes I open a fucking webtoon chapter and all of a sudden there's like a moving element of background and music playing, and you're just like,
What the
yeah, because
hell?
you can incorporate music into chapters in webtoons.
Okay.
So like you open it on the app, and when you scroll through certain pages, certain music will be playing as you read bits.
Some webtoons translate well enough to like if you're putting it into like a book. Some just don't though.
Yeah.
Yeah, like obviously you're never gonna get the music translated to a
Yeah.
book, so often it's just nicer to read things like that on Webtoon, or just go to Webtoon to read the specific or whatever Webtoon app it's on, because there are like 12, and read the specific chapters where there's music included, so you get the effect of the music along with the reading. But it's usually just kind of an added bonus, as opposed to a required element of storytelling.
How is the adaptation of the art style of the anime to the webtoon? Like, are they similar? Like, how different are they? Because I mean,
it captures the spirit of Tower of God,
Yeah.
Okay,
but it's
gotcha.
not. It loses Tower of God. It looks much better than the original Tower of God
I-
webtoon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what? You know what? I feel like this needs a demonstration. Hold on. Yeah, because Tower of God's on season break right now. Let's see.
So would it be better than like the first couple episodes of Tower God though?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
fine, still.
for reference.
Okay, I'm being shown something. Oh lordy.
Yeah.
Oh lord.
You gotta understand, a lot of webtoons are done, like, on the same sort of release schedule as a fucking, like, fanfiction.net ongoing
Well,
fic.
Also, there's not, because, so a lot of webtoons don't start as officially licensed, right? Like, there's a webtoon in particular has something called Canvas, which allows people, basically it means that creators can create webtoons and put them up, and they don't make any money off of them, but they can put them out there to be liked, and then when they get enough likes, sometimes Webtoon will pick them up for, like, official publication,
Okay.
and then they'll be removed from Canvas, and then polished and put on Webtoon, or just moved straight to the official site, where the author will now be making money off of them. So there's a pretty booming industry of, like, young cartoonists and illustrators just starting out making Canvas originals, and then when they get really popular, they get moved into kind of the publication and money-making sphere
Okay.
of Webtoon apps. And that's one of the reasons why Webtoon is really popular in the US. There are huge communities of US illustrators and artists making Webtoons on Canva and other similar sites in the hopes that they'll get picked up because they get popular. Like, a lot of the people who would post that stuff normally on, like, Instagram will now post on Canva, knowing that Webtoon usually picks up an author if it's popular enough.
Okay.
There's obviously a difference between the industries, but as far as us in the US view it, it's pretty much just the indie video games of manga.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, so there's a massively wide discrepancy in art style, technique, and polish, because you get things like, for example, the art for Solo Leveling is done by Dubu Redis Studios, which is an entire studio of artists and illustrators working together to translate the web novel into a webtoon.
Okay.
And then you get things like Tower of God, where it is one artist who started drawing cartoons in the military, and he drew 10 volumes of cartoons that eventually became the prototype for Tower of God while he was in the military.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's a very different kind of, there's no set quality that they have to meet to start out, really. It's
Okay.
just the sheer popularity of the series that can get them, like, paid for it, basically.
I think that's cool that there's, multiple revenues for finding publishing, because that's always best, because it's fucking hard to get published.
Yeah.
And even, like, what's the Merryweather comics? They were publishing on Webtoon for a while.
I think they still are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Not familiar, but okay, cool.
I think there's American,
If you've ever seen those internet comics of the video game consoles made into anime girls? Or
I've
Internet
sent you
Explorer
an
made into an
image.
anime girl?
Earthchan. Earthchan was also them as well.
Yeah,
If you've seen a webcomic of anything turned into an anime girl, it was probably Merryweather Comics.
Yeah,
Okay, got it.
Merryweather Comics does Cthulhu Girls and the Gaming Stations is Girls, and
They've moved away
What
from
the
that recently.
hell was the
but
name of that video game series? Because there was a video game series where the main characters are
Hyperdimension
all...
Neptunia?
That's it. Thank you. Yeah, like I remember seeing the first one I saw that was the one where they meet the Dreamcast,
yeah, so
and she's this like busted weird chick who like she barely works, which I feel like is kind of insulting to the Dreamcast. Yeah, they take some pot shots at consoles I don't like.
yeah, so I don't the art style for me. I think it's good that they improved and unified it for the anime.
It definitely takes more from the later seasons
Yeah.
and manages to
Yeah.
make it... bring it into a little bit of parody here.
Yeah, but at the same time, I appreciate that they've kept a little bit of the
Oh yeah, no, it's...
unique style of the author, because I wouldn't even call the progression of his art like going from bad to good. No, it's just that, like other artists, I mean, we saw it in like Bleach. The character just like look different as the artist draws them more and more over the course of all the years he was drawing that. It's very similar to that. I mean, the art style these days is much more a little closer to what would be like common mainstream. Like, it's got a little more polish and stuff like that. But I think it's honestly just a symptom of the author having drawn for so long at this point that your art just changes as you draw. So, I mean, you're right. It is closer to the more recent chapter release of the art style. It certainly does not look like the original chapters. Maybe for its benefit.
I guess.
Will admit I dropped Tower of God at least twice because of the early chapter art.
Look, you could tell a good story and not have very. I don't want to say bad art because I'm not in any position to say what good versus bad art is. Unique,
but not in a bad way. Not
like if you look, Hunter x Hunter certainly doesn't have great art.
Yeah.
One Punch Man also started from very humble beginnings.
Oh, I mean,
art-wise.
if you look at Mob Psycho, like a lot of people drop Mob Psycho because they hated the art style or like just the quality of the drawings, but Mob Psycho's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
The
So,
story's nice.
Yeah.
So oftentimes you can get away with telling a really good story with really interesting art.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, despite the long tangent we went on, to answer your question, it does maintain some of the art from the actual series, but they've really polished it for the anime.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But I appreciate that it's still, you could still recognize it as kind of that particular style, which I'm a fan of. And I think at this point we have gone long over where we
Way
should
over. Oh my.
So we'll see you back here to talk about
Spoiler, story, characters, the like. Try harder, everyone.
like, comment, subscribe.